What up? What up? How we doing? We're back. It's the Picks Podcast, Week 11,
Picks.
hosted by
We love
yours
picks.
truly, and nope, this guy, that way. There he is. What's up, Kyle? How you been, bud?
The sky's up. The KB Tease is up. Our bank accounts are up. Woo!
Let's go, dude.
6 of the last 7.
Get in while you can.
4 of the last 4.
Get in while you can.
Undefeatable. Actually, no, 5 of the last 5. I think week 6 was the last.
There was one that didn't.
Yet.
Yeah, it was the London
week
game.
6. That was week 6.
I still don't forgive you, Gerard Mayo. I still don't forgive you.
Rat.
Hey, I went 10-4 this week. I did that last week and the week before, and I think I did better even the week before. So the KB Tease is good. My picks are good. I'm actually 9 games ahead of where I was last year at this time. I'm loving it, man. Football's been great this year.
Loving it, McDonald's.
It's been great this year. It's not a 4 for 4. It's a 5 for 5.
5 for 5. For 7.
6 for 7. Yeah, but that doesn't
500 on the season.
That doesn't sound
500 on the season.
That doesn't sound as good. You got to do no. What you got to do is you got to do the math on how many
Over
units
500.
how many units people are up. That's what you got to do.
Units?
You got to do the
How many
units.
people? I think.
No, don't do it now. we got a show to do. Let's do the show first. Oh, let me not burp into the mic. I want to talk about a few things. First and foremost, the Jets have fired Joe Douglas, their general manager, following a 3-8 start. Can you blame him?
No.
I can't. I certainly can't.
He's low-key been kind of ass as the GM.
I mean, look at the track record. It ain't working.
Ain't working at all.
It ain't working. What did you say about Woody Johnson earlier when we were off air?
Oh, there was a report that Woody Johnson will not have Aaron Rodgers back.
Oh, really? So wait, how many do they have another year on that contract yet?
Yes, and I think the way it works is Rodgers is kind of incentivized to play again because I think he's owed like $30 or $40 million.
Well, yeah.
Plays again.
Obviously, I would
want
to play too.
Contract, but so like I think there might be dead. I have to look it up, but I think there is dead cap situation. Like if Rodgers doesn't play, but like we've seen teams before be like
interesting. Yeah, right.
Probably the Browns with Deshaun Watson like after this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they're smart.
I think if they keep him and they use like his insurance frame, like they say like he's still hurt.
Yeah.
And they'll have like cap savings next year, and then after next year, there's a way out. That's what they're gonna do.
There's a way out.
Way out.
Just ask Howie Roseman, who got out of the Wentz contract.
Yeah.
Just ask him.
Jalen Carter and AJ Brown.
Yeah. Other news. Seahawks starting center Connor Williams decided to retire midway through the 2024 season. Williams had started all 9 games with Seattle up until week 11. And I believe that announcement came out on like Friday. So
yeah,
not only did the Seahawks win and probably save their season, they did it without their starting center. And the guy who replaced him,
he kind of was not very good.
He was okay, yeah. I mean, he had a rough go of it this year. I don't think he's offered any reason as to why he retired yet, but I know he was dealing with injuries and like personal stuff. And I think he just didn't want to say like publicly what was going on. Williams had previously spent time with the Cowboys and Dolphins over a 7-year career. But hey, hats off to Seattle for still getting it done despite that.
Yeah. Big hats off to Seattle.
We talked about the Jets. Let's talk about the other New York team who has decided to bench quarterback Daniel Jones in favor of Tommy DeVito. Tommy Cutlets is back.
Tommy Cutlets.
He's back.
I think it's just weird that they did that, even though they paid Drew Lock like $6 million to just be the indefinite backup.
Dude, what the decisions coming out of New York are just hilarious. Like
honestly though, the decision to sit Daniel Jones isn't too bad because
but it's like
has,
why
that injury clause, or like if he obviously the decision to even keep him was stupid.
Right.
From the get-go, but like to sit him now, like anybody, like I heard this on like one of the fantasy podcasts I listened to, that like basically because it's like injury guarantee. Like if he doesn't pass a physical at the end of the season, then he's owed like the remainder of his contract.
In
So
full?
yeah, like I think he's owed like $30 or $40 million if he doesn't pass a physical at the beginning of the
Jesus
next season.
Christ.
So they're not going to let him get hurt. They're
No,
not going to let him play.
they're literally
They're going
not.
to shelve him for the rest of the season. They're going to tank. They want that number 1 overall pick.
Dude, that's
They're
wild.
starting DeVito,
2-8 start.
and
I actually think they
I
probably
just
do
feel
better.
horrible for the Giants fans.
They probably do better with DeVito. I mean, for Giants fans, I can't say I'm surprised, but I like Tommy DeVito, so like, hopefully kid gets it done.
I mean, there was the report that both who's their GM again? Who's a stupid boy?
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane and Dable are going to be kept on to next year. I mean, we'll see. But there was a report earlier this
Dude,
year.
they
That, like,
they
they're
can't
stay on no
they
matter
can't
what.
if they care about their franchise, they can't let him make another pick. I'm sorry.
No,
They
he's
can't.
so bad.
They gotta
I mean, Malik Neighbor's a good pick though. I like their draft. Honestly.
Well, I mean, I guess he didn't Gettleman was Barkley, right?
Edelman was Barkley
And Jones. So they shipped him
and
out.
Jones. But I
So who is
I think
Shane?
Shane was
Did Shane take to Andrew Thomas?
Shane signed.
Shane was Andrew Thomas. Shane was Malik Neighbors, right? And then Shane was also what's his face on defense?
Eric.
Deontay Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants,
honestly,
they're in shambles.
Not signing Barkley and not signing Xavier McKinney is not looking good for Joe Shane.
No, it's not. Jones signed a 4-year, $160 million contract with the Giants in the 2023 offseason, $96 million of which is guaranteed and included a $38 million signing bonus. So they owe him a lot of money. On top of that,
did not pick Andrew Thomas, by the way.
Oh, he didn't. That was Gettleman.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Kayvon, that's who it was.
And then he drafted
the other one. Kai, you want to hear something funny?
Yes.
That $38 million signing bonus is worth more than the total value of Saquon Barkley's 3-year contract that he signed with the Eagles this past March. Not looking good for the G-Men.
The G-Man, what are you doing? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Giants fans. I wanted to talk about how good of a year Chuba Hubbard's having, and I feel like no one's talking about it.
The Panthers are. They just gave him a shit ton of money.
Dude, coming into week 11, he's third in the league in rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, which is tied for 4th, 5.1 yards per carry, which is tied for 6th, 5th in rush attempts, and then he also has 30 receptions, which is, I think, 7th amongst running backs coming into week 11. Like, that's quite good. Despite how bad the Panthers have been, like, I feel like he's been somewhat of a bright spot this year. And I just wanted to highlight it real quick because got to get these guys some love. All right, the Panthers are not good; they're not going anywhere this year. So,
dude, you know what would be the most hysterical thing in the world? Which I keep seeing I saw TikTok edits about it going into the week. I mean, obviously the Chiefs were going to play the Bills, but they play the Panthers this week, coming off the Panthers bye.
Oh yeah.
And all the memes are like, "There's only one man that can save us," and it's just a Bryce Young. Of beating the Chiefs.
Oh my gosh. Jesus
I don't know,
Christ.
man. Is it a sign? The algorithm is very smart. The TikTok algorithm.
I will.
Can you imagine?
I'll run a 5K if they win. I'll run a 5K. If the Panthers win. Absolutely.
This is noted.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. If the Panthers win, they're currently an 11-point underdog.
I'll do a 5K.
If they win against the Chiefs, Matt will do a 5K.
I did a 5K the other day.
So you're gonna do another one.
I'll do another one. I mean, I do it.
Why not?
I did it. I'll do it. All right. Before we get into the games, I had to rant. I have to rant for just a quick minute.
To rant.
The officiating this year, I feel like, is at an all-time low. And I know a lot of people say that. A lot of people get on the officials, but I think it's warranted this year. All right. I saw at least 3 instances this week of points being awarded that should not have been if calls were correctly made. So I'll take you to Philadelphia on Thursday night, 3rd and long for the Redskins or for the Commanders. And there's this pass interference call on Cooper DeJean, which is clearly not PI. They bring the rules analyst. I think it was Gene's territory. I don't know if that's correct, but
Gene the
dude, they
GOAT.
brought the rules analyst on. He's like, yeah, that's not a penalty. Commanders get 3 points out of it. All right, whatever. Eagles win. Fine. By the way, he has to be held accountable. Adrian Hill, you need to be held accountable because that game was terrible. We'll get into that. Last night in Dallas, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on Jalen Petrie. They brought in the rules analyst again. They said bad call. Don't know where they're getting this from. Blah blah blah. And it should have led to points if the Cowboys weren't stupid.
Yeah.
So that was a whole nother thing. And then on what was it? Sunday night. At the end of the first half in the Chargers-Bengals game, they called roughing the passer because of a horse collar tackle against Justin Herbert that occurred while he was in the pocket. And by rule, if you are in the pocket as a quarterback, there is no such, you can't call that. You can't call a horse collar unnecessary roughness penalty when the quarterback is still in the pocket, which I didn't know. They brought the rules analyst on.
Unnecessary roughness when your quarterback's in the pocket?
No. You can't be flagged.
You can't call a horse collar.
You can't be, and that's what they called. That's what they called. And they said that he was in the pocket. I didn't know that was a rule. That's a rule though, not a penalty. Then on top of it, the Chargers get all the way down in the red zone. The Chargers have less than 10 seconds on the clock left, and Herbert intentionally grounds the ball. No call. Again, they bring in the rules analyst. You never notice when they bring in the rules analyst this year? It's like, oh yeah, I don't know what the guy's doing. So that was a terrible call.
Yeah.
Like, you notice that? I feel like that happens a lot this year.
This year I've noticed it a lot.
I've been noticing that a lot more.
Too,
Chargers got a field goal out of it.
I mean, as we are responsible gamblers, gamble responsibly. I think with how big gambling now is in the NFL,
it's
more so much more of a spotlight on these missed calls.
I agree with you.
Compared to previous years.
I agree.
I don't think the refs have necessarily gotten worse, but I think that there's way more of a spotlight on it now.
There's more eyes.
Because there's so much money on these
games. The thing that never made sense to me, though, is if you can have a guy in the booth who's watching the game live and knows the rule book that well, why don't they just call that guy? Like, I'll take the extra 10, 15 seconds it takes to talk to him or whatever.
Yeah, actually, like,
if they get the call right.
They get that call right. They didn't, right? On that, it was the game against I think it was the Sunday night game where one of the guys, like, they dropped it. They didn't call it, and it took them a while to, like, snap it or whatever. And I thought they were, even the announcers were saying, I thought during, like, replay review, they were going to, like, pause it and say it was a drop, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it was, how hard is it to phone the guy?
I wish I remember what game it was, but I'm 99% sure that was.
I feel like there was, it was the Bengals and Chargers. I feel like I'm remembering that play somewhat, but I don't know exactly which play you're talking about. But
I remember I was shocked with, like, at the whole point of this, like, replay, which I've noticed
it's
they've
crazy.
done pretty well with it this year. I was like, how the hell did they not catch that? Because it's so obvious on the first replay.
It's so crazy to me. Like, it takes them forever.
The
replay system is broken. Honestly, they should take notes from the XFL. When I was watching that shit back in April, they had that. Dude, they were done in like 2 seconds. They had a freaking drone flying around on the field. Like, they had every angle. You want to talk about, the sky cam? They had a fucking drone flying around. Do that. Anyway, let's get into the games. To the games. Thursday night football. Philadelphia 26, Washington 18. Saquon Barkley just wore that team down, man. On a short week, nonetheless. I mean,
Saquon Barkley's a star.
Quite good at football. He had 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter within like 30 seconds of each other too, which was crazy. He just wore them down, and like the whole time, I don't know if you saw after the interview, like, I want to say it was Landon Dickerson, but it might have been Jordan Mailata, who was like, Barkley just kept telling us, he's like, run the ball, guys, come on, keep running it, keep running. And they were getting like 3 yards, 4 yards a carry. Like, they were kind of slow in the first half.
Yeah.
He was like, let's keep going, let's keep doing it. And eventually it just worked. Like,
yep.
It's crazy, man.
Even Kenny Gainwell on that last one of that drive that got him, I think, the go-ahead touchdown. He had a couple really nice runs.
He had a couple nice runs too. Yeah, I remember that drive.
But honestly, with the Eagles, I think the biggest thing right now is they statistically have the best total defense in the NFL right now.
Dude, their defense is insane. Their defense is insane.
Is so good.
Quinyon Mitchell
my
deserves
boy,
to be an All-Pro.
Guantanamo Bay.
No,
I know he doesn't have any picks, which is probably why he's not going to win the award.
It's San
but
Quinion.
He should be Defensive Rookie of the Year.
It's San Quinion.
And Quinyon?
San Quinion.
Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah. People like San Quinion better, apparently. I like Guantanamo Bay.
I think he should be. I was wrong on my prediction that Quinyon will get his first pick. Granted, I did hammer Eagles money line, Eagles money line, and Commanders to throw an interception.
Dude, you can't get an interception when they don't target you.
Dude, the whole game they could not like Jane Daniels. His whole season has been like really good throwing it deep and stuff.
It's insane.
They were only throwing like underneath passes.
It's insane.
Like Austin Eckler had 8 for 89. And Zachary had 6 for 47. Yeah. They were just throwing underneath. McLaurin?
Dude, let me read you.
1 catch for 10 yards on 2 targets.
So here's Quinyon Mitchell versus top wide receivers this week. Week 1, Christian Watson held to 1 catch, 6 yards. And these are just on targets where Quinyon Mitchell was covering the receiver. Week 2, Drake London, 1 catch for 5 yards. Week 3, Chris Olave, 2 catches, 23 yards. Week 4, Mike Evans, 2 catches, 19 yards. Week 6, Amari Cooper, 1 catch, 10 yards. Week 7, Malik Neighbors, 1 catch, 9 yards. Week 9, versus whoever on the Jaguars, 1 catch, 11 yards.
Brian Thomas Jr., bro. Brian Thomas Jr., put some respect on his name.
Week 8, Jamar Chase, 2 catches, 19 yards. Week 10, CeeDee Lamb, 1 catch, 5 yards. Week 11, Terry McLaurin, 0 catches, 0 yards. Dude. It's insane. One more quick stat on Quinyon from Anthony Badina on X. There have been 19 cornerbacks this year who have played 350 or more coverages in snaps in coverage. 350 more snaps in coverage. Quinyon Mitchell is the only one who hasn't surrendered a touchdown out of those 19. And that list includes players like A.J. Terrell, Terrion Arnold, Derek Stingley, Christian Gonzalez, just to name a few. Bro is balling. They hit big. They clearly got the best cornerback in the draft. I'm hoping he's explosive for years to come because we're watching a star emerge, in my opinion.
And they got him so late in the draft.
They got him so late, dude.
What was the rest of the NFL doing? Howie can't keep getting away with this.
He can't keep getting away with it.
They can't keep getting away with it. And I guess just to reiterate my point, Aaron's Commanders fact of the day. It took a little late to respond.
You got one? Let's go.
Thursday. But it was basically Eagles' key to being Commanders. Jane Jennings had 0 completions over 15 yards down the field. No attempts over 25 yards down the field. Unclear if this was due to D-line collapsing on him too fast. Probably. Good cornerback coverage. More like great cornerback coverage. Or his lingering rib injury. Just an excuse. But we couldn't extend the field all day. And that big play explosiveness is a key part of Jaden Daniels being successful.
I mean,
and his feelings right now, because we get some feelings, not just facts from Aaron nowadays.
It's a fair analysis.
He says if they can get right in the game against Dallas, he's still feeling good. But if that one gets away from us, we might be in trouble. And we're hitting that Cliff Kingsbury collapse.
Yeah, dude.
If you're well aware.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a fair analysis, like especially with the big play stuff. Like that's where they kind of made their bread and butter this year with how explosive they've been on offense. So you take that away, and it's like you have to rely more on the run game. You have to rely more on like what'd you say? He had Austin Eckler had like 8 catches, like those little dink and dunks, and that's not really their game.
That's all they were doing.
That's not really their game. So.
No.
So yeah, big win for the Eagles. They retain first place in the NFC East, and they are the 2 seed in the NFC.
2 seed currently, overall. 8-2, one game behind the Detroit Lions.
All right, let's move on. What about the Jets, man? Tell me about the Jets.
The Jets. Oh my God.
They jetted
again. I was
again.
in New York this weekend. I took the train back on Sunday, so I was in like Secaucus, where like all the people go after the game.
Oh no.
So many sad faces, unhappy faces. I saw little kids in Jets jerseys, and I'm like, oh, these little kids just signed up for a lifetime of an abusive relationship. It was just a tragic scene.
I feel bad.
There was a decent amount of Colts fans too, which I guess good for them. A couple Colts kids. I was like, you know what, you chose the right side, kids.
I feel bad.
There was one mom and the son, and the son was wearing like Jet stuff, but the mom was wearing Ravens, and I'm like, you failed as a parent.
Interesting.
Why would you let him become fan of Jets when you like the Ravens?
Dude,
Why would you do this to your poor son?
bad mom right
I
there.
almost called Dyfus on this woman.
That's a terrible mother right there. How
That's
dare
just
she?
the worst mother of the year.
Dude,
Call Dyfus on this bitch.
they had the 2-point lead with 10 and change to go. They go down the field, they take like 6 minutes off the clock. And they get to the edge of the red zone, and then they're just like, yeah, you know what? 3 points sounds pretty good. Like, they couldn't finish the drive. And then, of course, Anthony Richardson, you know, had his moment. AR-15 or AR.
I mean, to
Is he
be
15?
fair, the
Is
Jets
he 5?
also, like, you could say like, oh, like they did it in the half. It was a close
5, I
game.
think.
The Jets should have been blown out. They didn't get a first down until when was the first time they got a
Yeah,
first down?
they
It
were
was
tough.
the last drive of the first half. They got their first down with 2 minutes left in the first half.
Dude,
That's
they were so
bonkers.
tough to watch. Watching Aaron Rodgers has been tough this year, I will say. Like,
It's just he's gone.
he's gone, dude. Their window was last year, I feel like.
It was, and he tore his Achilles.
And he tore his Achilles. Like, that's
It's a shame.
man. Anthony Richardson though had his moment.
Because the Jets they got a touchdown on the end of the half, 7-play, 66-yard drive.
Mhm.
Their second touchdown was off a fumble, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
2 plays, 25 yards. And then they got a field goal off of like it looks like a bad punt because they only got 4 plays.
Yeah, I think I remember. They had that
punt.
game up on the big screen where I was watching. I think I remember that.
There was a 15-yard penalty for fair catch interference because he punted it to the 43.
Yeah, okay.
So like that wasn't that much. And then they had another good drive for a touchdown, and they had a drive for a field goal, and then they let up a 6-play, 70-yard drive in the 2-minute drill to Anthony Richardson, who is like inaccurate as hell. Actually,
Yeah.
This game he was quite accurate.
He was actually pretty good this
66%
game.
completion percentage.
On the
He played
ground.
pretty well.
Dude, that big
2 rushing
playability, that's
touchdowns.
why they won. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, Colts
The
win.
Jets
floating.
season's over, 3-8.
Yeah, they're done now. I think it's safe to say they're done.
Colts are still kind of in it a little bit. just
They're
because
close.
The Texans haven't been playing that
Yeah,
well.
and we'll get to the Texans in a little bit because I did want to ask you about them. But the Colts are still alive. I mean, they're not dead yet. It's been a very weird, almost like Cleveland-esque like year, except they're not as good.
Mhm.
You know. So
Yeah, I think that they'll be fine. They'll be middle pack. You gotta hope for a good offseason next year, and
Yeah.
then they can compete. More development from Anthony Richardson.
all right, we got a big
They're in a
one.
good spot.
We got a big one to talk about. Ravens Steelers.
What a game!
Big one.
Typical Ravens Steelers
Bro,
game.
why did anybody, myself included, why did anybody think the over was gonna hit in this game? Like
That was a
the
foolish
over,
move.
bro, the over under closed at 48.5. Who in their goddamn mind?
It was
Looking at myself here.
Damn, I should have put that as the KB Tease.
48.5, bro. Why
Steelers plus 10.
why didn't we realize that was
Lock.
too goddamn high?
That's so bad.
18 to
49.5.
16. 80.
Close that.
I have 40. DK was 48. 48.5.
ESPN bet was 49.5.
Jesus Christ.
That is nuts.
Steelers win 18-16. Did you pick the Steelers?
I did pick the Steelers. That's also why they were in the
Attaboy.
KB Tease, because I thought they were gonna win.
Attaboy. Oh,
I
that was
just
never a
love how the
doubt.
Steelers
That was never a
won.
doubt.
The Steelers didn't score a single touchdown and won, and yet like Joe
I
Burrow
love
threw
that.
like 4 touchdowns in 2 games, like each game against the Ravens, and lost.
And lost, yeah. So weird. It's so strange.
Steelers blood magic, man.
Dude, JT, Justin Tucker. What's up with him?
Washed. If only the Ravens had like a Hall of Fame kicker this game, they could have won.
So I actually watched this guy on YouTube. His name is shut up. I watched this guy on YouTube. His name is Isaac Punts. Really good channel. He's trying to be an NFL punter, which I think is awesome. But he did a breakdown on Tucker this year, and I found it very interesting. He said it's the holder's fault. Like he said, and there was a comparison of his good kicks and his misses. And in his good kicks, it's a clean snap, clean hold. But then when it's a missed kick, it's like slightly inside the hash or like slightly outside of his hands. Like, because you know, like if it's supposed to be like right here, right? It's supposed to like come in at the same angle. The holder has to reach his hands out towards it and get it. And what he's doing is he's not placing it where Tucker's expecting it, and he's leaning the football. Because if you look at all of his kicks that he's missed this year, they all hook left. It's like it's the craziest thing. So he thinks it's the
I
holder's
didn't even
fault.
realize that.
No, I didn't either. I mean,
Yeah, think about it. Holding's probably 50% of the kick.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, he's like leaning the football backs, and so he's hooking all of his kicks. At least in the misses that he's had this year, that's what it looks like to him. And I take his word because he's a punter and he's also a holder by extension most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he missed 2 field goals, one from 47 and one from I think it was like 50, right?
Yeah, it was 51.
That's
I think.
six missed kicks for him this year and a PAT,
Oof.
which is crazy. But I mean, I think the Steelers really just had like Lamar on lock for most of the game.
They really
right?
do. Lamar historically hasn't played that well.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
I think he's like all. I think he's only beat the Steelers like once in his career.
I don't have that number in front of me, but
I'm looking it up because I just want to make sure. Yeah, he's 1-4 all
wow,
time against the Steelers
wow,
as a starter.
that's crazy.
His touchdown interception ratio is 5-8.
Yuck.
Big yuck. I was kind of worried about that with my fantasy team with Lamar.
Yeah, dude.
But I still won, and I still have most points scored. Hilarious. I love it.
No one got Lamar this week. Fortunately,
no one got Lamar.
The Steelers.
Except my opponent got Barkley and John Reed.
Yeah, I think the Steelers read that 2-point try like perfectly. So they tried to do. I don't know if you saw the play, but they scored the touchdown. They scored the touchdown to make it. They were down 18-10. No, so they did it was kind of like a read option. They had I don't know if it was Henry or Justice Hill. I think it was Justice Hill going motion right. And then Lamar tucked it and then they pulled the guards and they tried to like just do like get him in. Steelers were they were not having it, dude. They were like, he's keeping this ball. And then he like tossed it up just to try and get it into the end zone and hit the ground. So they read that perfectly. And then of course they got one first down and then that's over. And you know who picked up that first down, essentially? He got 9 out of those 10 yards. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, yeah. I mean, I was worried.
First action.
He slid a yard short on the
Yeah, he did.
down,
he did.
But then he got the further.
I think the Steelers are in a very interesting position to use Justin Fields as like a Swiss Army knife. Because this is the first time he's played since Russ took over. He had 2 carries for 17 yards. I think they're in a very interesting position where they can kind of use him like a Taysom Hill, except he's not a power back, he's a speed back. Sorry if you heard that. So yeah, if he's like he's not like a power back, but he could be like a speed back option, right? But he could throw the ball too. So I think they're in a I think they should explore that more, honestly. I know Tomlin's kind of old school, quarterback wise and, run it down your throat, pocket guy, whatever. I think they're in a very interesting position to use Fields like that going forward. So the Steelers now are 8-2, so they are 1 game back of the Chiefs for the 1 seed. And I think they're the only other 8-2 team, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, in the AFC.
What, 8-2?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Bills are 9-2.
Oh, okay, there you go. So the Steelers are,
and then the Chiefs.
So the Steelers are the 2nd seed in the AFC. The Steelers are the 3rd.
Steelers are the 2nd seed in the AFC.
No, the Steelers are the 3rd. Steelers are the 3rd seed.
3rd seed in the AFC. That is correct.
Okay. But they've retained their lead, extending their lead actually in the AFC North, which is huge.
Yes, they're now 2 games ahead in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Well, I guess 2 game and a half.
Game and a half.
The Ravens haven't had their bye yet.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. All right, let's do some quick ones here. Vikings, Titans. What do you got on that one?
Not much. Titans kind of they're a little feisty, but the Vikings are a better team. Titans are just looking at the draft at this point.
Both teams combined for only 115 rushing yards in the game, and only 33 of those came from Tennessee. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
They only had 33,
honestly,
33 rushing yards as a team.
One of their touchdowns off of that 90-yard play to Westbrook Akini.
Yeah. Did you see that? It was a 98-yard touchdown.
98-yard touchdown.
Crazy. Nick Westbrook Akini.
Yeah.
Vikings win 23-13. We got the Browns and the Saints. Saints 35, Browns 14. Hey, Saints.
That was the Taysom Hill game.
Jesus
Christ.
Saints with Derek Carr though. 500 football. Food for thought.
But also Taysom Hill went nuts.
Dude, so he had 7 carries.
Taysom Hill's stat line is honestly hilarious.
So read it out to me.
Because it's just the fact that he does everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read his stat line.
Go ahead.
Taysom Hill, 1 for 2 for 18 yards and an interception. 7 for 138 and 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Dude, 7
with
for
a fumble.
7 for 138 and 3 is
and then he was
crazy.
8 completions for 50 yards.
So he
did everything.
He's the first.
He threw a pass.
Yeah.
He ran for 3 touchdowns. He ran for over 100 yards. He caught 8 passes.
Yeah, that's great.
For 50 yards, and he fumbled and threw a pick.
So he's the first player to have.
Unbelievable.
He's the first player since 1961 to have 3 rushing touchdowns and throw an interception in the same game. That's wild. Like we've never.
And he fumbled.
We have never. Yeah, dude. I thought like looking at his line, I was like, that has to be a first. Like 100 yards rushing, 8 or more catches, 3 or more rushing touchdowns, throw an interception and fumble. Like that has to be a first. I don't subscribe to the stat head on Pro Football Reference, but if one of you guys out there do, please look that up because I want to know. It has to be a first. Yeah. I kind of feel bad for Nick Chubb. Because he's not.
That's because the Cleveland offense couldn't make field goals.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, at halftime it was 14-6, and they couldn't make any field goals. They missed 2 field goals at the end of the half.
Yeah.
If they had made those field goals, then the game would have been a 2-point game.
It was tough.
Halftime.
I mean, that also
been huge.
That's also what happens when you throw 40 times a game. I mean, Jameis almost had like 400 yards, so like. I guess that's what happens when you're down by that much too. But like, I kind of feel bad for Chubb, honestly. And he's on 2 of my teams, so I really feel bad.
Well, yeah, he's my RB4 right now, so I don't feel too bad.
No, unfortunately.
Behind McCaffrey, Henry, and Saquon.
Did you have another thing on this? I kind of cut you off.
Not really. Just
No.
that Derek. I like Jameis Winston's play style. It's very funny. Instead of the check down, he does the arm punts.
Dude,
he's like chucks it deep.
He's so funny to watch.
A check down.
He's such a meme. I love it.
He's such a meme. I love him.
I treasure him so much. All right, let's go to Detroit briefly. Lions 52, Jaguars 6. The Lions score a lot of points, don't they?
They do score a lot of points.
They score a lot of points, man. So this is now the 4th time the Lions have scored 40 or more points this year. Crazy.
Absolutely nuts. For sure. I can't find it. Very upset. I saw it on TikTok. But that the Lions' offensive performance this game was one of the most like greatest of all time, like for a team.
They had 9 drives total in this game. They held the ball for 39 minutes over those 9 drives, and they scored touchdowns on. They scored touchdowns on their first 7 possessions. They scored a field goal on their 8th possession. No, on their 8th possession, and then the last possession was the end of the game.
Yeah.
So they literally did the most. Like they essentially did the most.
They also I think they were the most in the past 20 years since the merger or whatever. Since the Texans joined the team, since we were at 32.
Okay.
They scored the most points while having the most yards per drive.
It's
dude,
they
didn't
even have
7 touchdowns with having an average yards per drive of being I think 69.
Dude,
maybe it might have been 71.
I don't think the Jaguars turned it over.
Their drives it was a 70-yard drive, 93-yard drive, 64-yard drive, 84-yard drive, 80-yard drive, 83-yard drive, 96-yard drive.
It's insane.
The field goal was only 23. And then the end of the game was 52. That's insane.
Dude, that's insane. They
are a steamroller.
That was literally the most efficient game I've ever seen. It was crazy.
It was just red zone was just oh yeah, here it was obviously we weren't playing it that much because it was a blowout.
Yeah.
But it'd be here the Lions scored again.
Yeah.
The Lions scored again. The Lions scored again.
Oh, dude.
Guess what? The Lions scored again.
It's bad. It's bad, bro.
They are so good. Oh my god.
I know.
God.
They're scary, man. They're scary. So they're the 1 seed. They're 9-1, clearly deserving of it. They're scary.
Best team in the NFL. Do you think they overtook the Chiefs now that they lost?
Definitely the best offense. Not the best defense. I still think that's the Chiefs. Despite what Josh Allen did or was able to
Eagles?
Well, statistically, it might be the Eagles, but
Statistically, it is the Eagles.
but I think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are still better. I think you still have to give the edge to the proficiency and just just the pedigree of the
All right,
Chiefs.
let's just go on to the next one. This is a blowout.
Anyway, yeah, all right. All right, we'll touch on one more game. All right, we'll touch on two more games that were meh that we can kind of breeze through. Raiders, Dolphins. This was one of the games this week. It definitely was.
Raiders are bad.
What was it? 34 something?
34-19.
34-19. Yeah, it was a weird score. Dolphins win 34-19. That's 6 in a row for the Raiders that they've lost. They're not a good football team. But Brock Bowers is a good football player.
Brock Bowers, though.
Brock Bowers is sick.
I've heard.
That's a huge hit.
Of people I respect saying that Brock Bowers will be better than Travis Kelce by the end of his career.
I mean, dude, it's year one.
He's the best receiving tight end in football right now.
It's year one, but like
year one, and he's a stud.
Dude, watch him play.
He's their only good player.
Watch him play. He's insane.
All you have to do for the Raiders is just cover him. And yeah, he's still got 13 catches, 126 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, it's insane. Tua had, what was it, 288 and 3 this week. Another efficient week for Tua Tagovailoa.
Jonnu Smith. My Trey McBride by starter.
He's your guy.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. Did you see on his I think his first touchdown?
Yeah.
He threw the ball into the air. Like he's like, yeah, I won. He threw it into the air and it landed in the section where his family was sitting.
Where were they sitting?
Like they were sitting in the end zone, like corner of the end zone.
Oh, and he just chucked it?
Far up, like probably like row like 10 or 12.
Jesus.
And he just chucked it in the air, and it landed right in front of his son.
Was he trying to throw it there?
No.
That's
he just,
crazy.
Like, chucked it in the air.
That's crazy.
Nuts. Crazy.
So the Dolphins win again. That's their 3rd win in a row. All right. We'll also touch on Rams, Patriots. This was probably also one of the games this week.
The Rams almost blew it though, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'll had the ball with a chance to win.
I'll give the Pats credit. They definitely hung in there. They're not good, but they're definitely not like at the very bottom.
Not like the worst team.
No, they're definitely not at the bottom.
Greg May honestly has been playing fairly well.
Yeah.
Just from watching him.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that the Pats have like nobody on offense that can help.
They have no playmakers, and their defense is also kind of shitty.
Receivers are like Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas.
Yeah, like
Hunter Henry. Like
yeah,
they just need
they
to
don't
get,
really
like, some
have
help.
They don't have any playmakers.
Their all line's
really.
also kind of trash.
And their defenses, they have no pass rushers either.
Isn't that good either. Like Puka,
it was the
123 in a touchdown.
Puka and Cooper show.
6 for 106 in a touchdown.
Yeah.
Just
so the Rams win.
Touchdowns. Matt Stafford's first passing touchdown in Foxborough.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, in his career.
So the Rams win 28-22. They moved to 5-5. Patriots moved to 2-8.
Big game against the Eagles this week for the
Rams,
because they're still in the division contention.
That is a big game. Oh, 3-8. Excuse me. Pats are 3-8.
Pats are 3-8. To go face the Dolphins.
All right, tell us about. we got a lot of people.
The game.
We got a lot of people to thank for the KB Tease.
The KB Tease.
One of them,
our first one here.
One of them is our good friend Carl Brooks, who was the man who blocked the field goal.
Brooks.
He blocked a field goal for the Packers. So Packers win.
You see that
20-19.
Versace said in the team meeting that he'd be shocked if they don't block a pick during this game. They don't block a kick during the game.
He said that
because they noticed on film that Cairo Santos on like deeper field goals, he kicks it really low to the left. So they focused on that with the blocking.
Interesting. So he had to tell.
And they said, they were like, why the hell didn't the Bears like run another play to get like a couple more yards? Because then they probably wouldn't have been able to block it.
Yeah, I thought that was what
the Packers.
I thought that was weird too. Didn't they take it all the way down? They were at like
they took it all the way down and settled for the
it was like 50-something yards.
46 yard.
All right, so it wasn't that bad.
They had 35 seconds left.
That's what it was, bro.
They could have came in.
I was
and
like,
ran another play.
I was
got like a couple more yards.
Because wasn't it 3rd down they kicked it on, or was it?
It was 1st and 10.
They kicked it on 1st and 10.
No, they kicked it on 2nd and 8.
So they definitely had another play. Yeah, I thought that was so strange.
They could have ran another play, called the timeout and then kicked the.
I thought that was so strange to me. Like I was like, why?
It's just poor coaching. Like the Bears, Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, dude.
In like
His stock,
one-score games,
stock's going down.
is so bad.
His stock is definitely going down. Yeah, thank God for Carl Brooks, who was again the player who blocked the field goal, saved the KB Tease, bro.
He's 5-17 in one-score games.
He's 5-17.
Eberflus is head
Jesus
coach.
Christ,
That's terrible.
That's really bad.
Also, this was the second time in my life that I was praying for a Bears block field goal, and it happened.
Bro.
And I also went almost just as ecstatic.
Holy shit!
If I had a nickel for every time I was praying in my seats for a Bears,
I'd have 2 nickels. I'd have 2 nickels, bro. Oh my god! The Cody Parkey double doink.
Weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, right. And both of them were in Chicago, right? Oh no, was the other one?
Both of them were in Chicago. No, they were both in.
They were both in Chicago, right? Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm not making that up, right?
No, it's the fact that it's happened twice.
Dude, it was crazy. So nutty. So that's the fourth.
Bears objectively played better than the Packers. Like the
yeah, dude. Oh my god, dude. How bad is Jordan Love, dude? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude, I'm pretty sure he's started 2 red zone every game he's.
He has. He's the first Packers quarterback to do that since like the 40s, and he's the first quarterback since Case Keenum in 2018 to do that. Like, period. Wow. It's crazy.
Quick question though: do you think Christian Watson caught that one ball?
Yes.
Kind of set up the Packers.
Yeah, I did.
I think he did.
I did.
Bears playing saying
they took. I mean, that was a hell of a catch from Watson.
That was a great catch.
Yeah, I thought he had it. The one angle they showed, I didn't think he had it, but then the other angle, you can clearly see
I agree.
His forearm got under the ball and then he tucked it in.
But thank Christ for the Bears special team unit.
Oh
my
dude,
god,
I
was sweating that all day. I was because even before I picked that leg in the KB Tease, I was like, I don't know, man. Like Chicago's kind of due because they've lost like 10 straight, and then like they looked like they were gonna win. They were playing so much better. I was like, oh my god, I messed up. The KB Tease streak ends, and then it didn't, and it was great.
Well, they lost 3 straight coming in this week, which is I guess 10 straight if you're exaggerating.
No, the Bears have lost.
Oh, against the Packers. Against the Packers. Yeah, you're right. Dude, LaFleur's record against the Packers is insane. I think he's only lost
the Bears?
No, the Bears, yeah. I think he's only lost
once.
Once, yeah. I think he's only lost once. You didn't say it yet, though.
What?
Who broke the Bears?
Oh, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. You've said that like every week since that.
Yeah, they did break the Bears.
They're broken, man.
They broke the Bears.
I mean,
the offense looked better though without what's his name, Shane Waldron or whatever. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they got Keenan Allen and DJ Moore involved a lot more.
Yeah.
So
and Roshan Johnson.
And Roshan, and Roshan. So yeah, there were some positives. There were some positives from the Bears. All right, yeah, but let's go. Yeah. Let's go to the 4:00 hour. We'll touch on the one that we don't have to get too into. The Denver Broncos.
Dude, 38 looks so fucking good. Oh my
38-6 over the Atlanta Falcons. Dude, Atlanta's offense is pretty good. 6 points? That's wild.
Their defense is legit.
They're legit, man. They are a football team. I
kind of thought I picked the Falcons because I kind of thought that like the Broncos would be like let down from their loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Be broken per se, but no,
I was all over. Really I was all over Denver, dude. I hammered Denver
Bo
this
Nix
week.
Has been
I didn't
fire.
even think. I love watching Bo Nix play football now. I love it. He's such a quarterback, dude. He's
a stud.
He's great, dude. Threw for casual 307 and 4 this week, man. Watch out.
I was very high on him coming out of the draft. I thought he was going to be one of the better.
I was skeptical.
I said that he was one of my favorite quarterbacks out of the draft class. I think him and May were my favorites coming out of the draft class.
I don't remember what my take on Bo Nix was, but I remember being skeptical about him. Just because I didn't. Just because I told you Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback. I said.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
I have receipts on that. I have multiple receipts.
I think I had him as my fourth or third.
Ooh.
And then I had Nix and.
Besides the point, dude, Bo Nix is. Watch out for Denver, man. They could win.
He's honestly even a viable like fantasy starter.
Dude,
like,
he's been insane. He's been insane in fantasy.
I did best ball, and I picked Bo Nix in like the last round of the draft as like my third quarterback. And honestly, he's been my quarterback for multiple weeks in the best ball.
He's so good. Because
he's been playing phenomenal. I think he's like what? He's a top 10 quarterback for sure.
Oh, he has to be.
I don't remember. I'm gonna look up what he is in ESPN
He has to be.
real quick.
All right, go
If I
ahead.
can pull it up really quick. How quick can I pull it up? And honestly, he's on waivers in the league. So like, if you see him on waivers,
Yeah, he
get him.
shouldn't be on waivers anymore.
Should not be on waivers. He's the QB7
He shouldn't be on waivers anymore.
in 4-point passing league.
Dude, that's crazy.
And he was honestly not that good at the beginning of the year. So that's crazy.
Yeah. All right, 2 games, 4 o'clock hour, both with massive implications. Let's go to San Francisco first.
San Francisco.
Seattle Seahawks 20.
Super Bowl hangover.
The San Francisco 49ers 17. Seahawks finally get a win after their how many losses they have in a row. It was a lot. They started 3-0. They started 3-0. And then they went
started 3-0, then
they went 1-5. They went 1-5.
1-5.
They had lost 2 in a row. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying they saved their season with that win.
I agree.
4
they
and
have
6.
A really big game coming up against Arizona.
Yeah, then that's going to be a super tight game. But they 100%, the late game heroics of Geno Smith may have saved the Seattle Seahawks season. That's a monumental win.
That was a phenomenal last drive.
Oh, dude, it was a masterclass. And then, dude,
masterclass.
I was just sitting there watching. I'm like, is he gonna take that? Oh my god, he's gonna take it to the house. I didn't think he was gonna get in just because the conditions weren't the best, and like he's not really a runner, so I was skeptical. But he made that shit work. So
he did.
I mean, it definitely wasn't pretty from him for most of the game, but like when it mattered most, man showed up.
And most they got him.
Kyle, what are your?
I thought they were gonna get cooked when they went for it on 4th down.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wasn't so sure about that.
But then their defense stood up and got the punt.
Dude, tell me,
what are your drive?
Why is the Kyle Shanahan offense in like a bit of a lull? Like what's going on?
Well, I think this week they didn't have George Kittle, which is kind of big. I think it's a divisional game too, so you kind of see the opponent.
Yeah, I'd say that, but like
Brock Purdy's apparently banged up. They're saying he's day to day with a shoulder. Like you could argue it's that.
They don't look crisp.
Debo's honestly kind of playing like booty cheeks.
They don't look crisp.
That
they should.
And honestly, their defense is pretty banged up as well.
Well, I know their defense.
Nick Bosa was doing really good early game, and then like he has some kind of a hip injury.
Yeah.
And when he got pulled out, Seattle was playing.
They were playing a lot better. Yeah.
You could tell that Geno Smith was way more comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah, that's definitely
he got out versus when he was in.
That's definitely a fair observation. I just think they don't look the same this year. It's kind of like. Dude, honestly, I can't quite pin it down, to be honest.
Somebody said online that one of the talking heads on one of the broadcast networks, I think it was Manti Te'o actually, like with the missing girlfriend. He said that like the 49ers are an emotionally exhausted team.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
and
I did see
honestly, couldn't agree more.
He said that. He said that at the beginning of the year.
They lost the Super Bowl. They lost the NFC Championship, which they feel they should have won, but that's another point for another day. Just because Brock Purdy got hurt, which they were going to lose regardless. But anyway, and they would have lost the Super Bowl regardless. And then they lost. They've like been in the NFC Championship game so many times. They lost to the Chiefs before in the Super Bowl.
Dude, honestly,
it's just like. It's so much.
Emotionally exhausted.
The year. I think that's a good term.
I think that's an appropriate label at this point. I think he kind of nailed it. So they're 5-5. Like they're not in the playoffs if the playoffs started today, and they're not even. I mean, they are close. Like where are they in the?
I don't think you can count them out because they're like almost everybody in that division's 5-5, and they could still easily win it.
Yeah,
divisional games coming up. But granted, they're now 1-4 in the division.
So their divisional
or 1-3 because they lost to each of the teams.
Their divisional record is
1-3.
1-3, yeah.
They lost to Arizona. They lost to the Rams. That's not good. Not looking good for the Niners.
So they
have a really tough schedule coming up.
So they're technically they're in last place. Dude, who would have thought going into Week 12 that they would be in last place? Because they technically are in last place. There's a 3-way tie for 5-5.
Me when I was drunk betting with Connor.
You were mad at Connor. That's the only reason you bet that. You were saying fuck that. They ain't winning shit.
Yeah, Yeah, they are last in the division. Crazy. Who would have thought?
which is
I mean,
nuts.
granted, they're tied for last with like 2 other teams, and the Cardinals are only a game ahead.
It's still
and
nuts.
they're the Niners.
Still nuts to me.
Yeah, but they have a tough schedule. They get the Packers.
Yeah, they do. They don't have an easy
Green
schedule.
Bay, at Buffalo. They play the Bears, but whatever. Rams, Dolphins, Lions, Cardinals. Very tough.
They don't have an easy schedule, to be completely honest. All right, let's get into these last 3 games. We got to talk about my man, Josh Money Allen.
And we'll talk about my man, Tyler Bass.
The Lord and Savior.
Shout out to Tyler Bass.
Why? What did he do?
For missing that first extra point.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
9.5.
That's right.
And the KB Tease.
I forgot. We have him to thank, too. We love Tyler Bass.
Tyler Bass. He's a G. Last name's Bass. Bass Splits.
Bass Blitz.
Bass fishing. We love it.
Dude.
We love fishing.
So the Bills at home beat the Kansas City Chiefs 30-21. This is the Chiefs.
We both called it. We both called the Bills, right? You picked the Bills.
No, sir.
You fool.
No.
You fool.
I picked Kansas.
Chiefs keep it close. Bills win.
I picked the no. See, I thought the script was not that. I thought the script was that Taylor Swift was coming down from her show in fucking Toronto, and then she was gonna come and be like, "Look at me, I'm Taylor Swift," and the Chiefs are like, "Oh shit, you're right, you're gonna win now." That's what I thought the script was.
No.
So I was wrong. Yeah, I did pick Kansas City. But dude, I mean, I told you what my plan was this year. I'm gonna pick them every week until they lose, and then I'll probably pick against them like once or twice again. I already know what I'm gonna.
To be honest,
I already know what I'm gonna pick against them.
The Chiefs remind me, to a certain extent, of the Eagles of 2023. Do I think they're gonna collapse?
No.
Like the Eagles did in 2023.
That's a bad take, Kyle.
But I do not.
That's a bad
do
take.
not think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Dude. So
I do not.
All right.
Maybe it's just because I'm blinded by my hate of Patrick Mahomes.
I'll say this.
But I do not.
I'll say this. He's having a down year. He is having a down year. We need to stop beating around the bush.
That he has more interceptions than games played.
Well, here, I'll give you some stats. So it's not even the fact that he's still somehow fifth. He has the 5th best odds.
He's 11 picks
in the MVP voting.
Games.
Kyle, he's still the 5th best odds to win MVP. What the fuck are we doing? He's actually having a bad season. So, all right, here's the stats. 15 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He's only averaging 7 yards per attempt, which ranks 26th in the league. He's not even top 10 in completion percentage. Like, what are we doing, sportsbooks? Stop trying to push the narrative.
He was undefeated because the MVP is basically quarterback with the best record award.
It's so asinine that's the case though, and you like obviously
if you're looking at the Chiefs, they only won 2 games this year, 2 games this year by more than a touchdown.
It's not the offense.
One was by 9 and one was by 10.
Yeah, it's not the offense.
They've been trailing in the second half almost every game this year, I believe.
It ain't the offense, bro. It ain't the offense.
I remember when we were talking about the Eagles before, like obviously the supernatural funks collapse or whatever. Like I remember all the stats being like, oh, like teams that don't have like at least like 2 or 3 like double-digit wins, they don't go on to the Super Bowl. Why aren't we talking? I mean, obviously,
yeah.
I think this whole Chiefs persona magic that the Chiefs are really good because they're the best quarterback, best head coach. I think it's making everybody a little biased. This may be a hot take. It is a hot take. I do not think the Chiefs will be going to the Super Bowl. I'm calling it now.
I hope you're right.
This could look really stupid.
I hope you're right. But
I really hope I'm right too. But
the difference between
them winning the Super Bowl and I don't even think they're gonna go.
Here's the thing. The difference last year with the Eagles is that they were winning games like 26-23. They were still putting up points because they're just that talented on offense.
Chiefs were winning games 16-14
because they have a great defense.
27-20
because they have a great defense, Kyle. That goes a long way. You and I both know the Eagles' defense last year.
The Eagles' defense last year
was
terrible.
in shambles.
Their offense is bad. The Chiefs' offense.
No. The Eagles' offense.
Travis Kelce's a shell of himself.
Here's the thing.
He's probably gonna retire.
The Eagles' offense was broken last year. It's not that they weren't talented. It was just broken. The defense. No. The offense was broken. They weren't bad per se.
Yes.
On paper, they were just broken in multiple ways. No, the defense last year was just bad.
Yes,
They were broken, but they were also bad. No, the Chiefs defense is still legit. This Chiefs defense will carry them in the playoffs because they're gonna go to the playoffs. They're not gonna collapse.
Oh no, yeah, they're gonna go.
I think that would be very unlikely. I might be wrong,
But
but
imagine if they lose to the Panthers, like I said, alluded to earlier.
that would.
Just
Hey,
imagine.
I'm picking Kansas City next
Bryce
week,
Young
but it would be cool.
leads with Chuba Hubbard at his side.
I'll
Leads
get
to
it.
a win against.
I'll get a
the
Chuba
Chiefs.
Hubbard jersey.
What is the national media saying then?
They're
Honestly,
in shambles.
I mean, I was really close. I didn't do it because people would think it's insane and they lose confidence in it. But I was really close to taking that Panthers plus 11 KB Tease.
Oh, dude.
Closer than you would have realized.
You're
it's not in it, but I was
you're
really
treading on
close.
thin. You're treading on thin ice a little shit.
Really close. I liked it a lot.
So I wanted to ask you, do you think Josh Allen is a legitimate MVP candidate at this point?
I think right now the MVP race is between Josh Allen, Lamar, and Jared Goff.
Okay, that's fair.
I'd be shocked if it's not one of those three.
I'm in agreement with that. I still personally think it's Lamar. I mean, he leads the league in like every statistical category.
I do agree. I think it is Lamar because I think if the Ravens didn't have Lamar, they wouldn't be a playoff team.
No, they'd be awful. They'd be I shouldn't say.
So
I shouldn't say.
Probably going to be. I think it should be Lamar as of right now. If I had to pick between those three, I think it's Lamar. But with Allen as a close second. But I think I wouldn't be upset if any one of those three.
I just think Lamar's stats. Like you could argue that Josh Allen does more in clutch moments. Like I don't even know if that's a thing or not. Just like what I've seen, like in the past.
I mean, he got that fourth down
this year. I mean,
touchdown to lead the game.
Yeah,
get the game.
Like I would say,
but not the game-winning touchdown. The touchdown that got it to 2 points. That late in the game, which is basically winning. Against the Chiefs. If it was a one-score game,
well, he scored.
I wouldn't be shocked.
He scored. That game. Well, dude, he accounted for 87% of the Bills' total yards in that game.
Yeah.
Like and then he obviously said that he had the game clinching touchdown on the 26-yard touchdown run at the end of the game. Yeah, no, I still think it's Lamar just because he still leads in like every statistical category at the quarterback position and like even some in running. Like I think he leads the league in like average yards per carry. He's up there in rushing touchdowns too. So like, I still think statistically it's Lamar, but I do think if I needed somebody to lead me down the field with 2 minutes left, I would take Josh Allen. I would take Josh Allen.
I agree. I still think it's probably going to be Lamar, but it's one of those three.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
I think Mahomes being in the race that's over.
No, it's not.
Sam Darnold, QB bus. I always love you. He is the QB bus.
He's
had some pumpkin performances.
We had a great 5-week run
between those three.
We had a great 5-week run with Sam Darnold.
I mean, they're only a game behind the Lions.
No, they're still chilling. They're still cool.
They're
still cool and whatnot, but like, it ain't happening.
All right, let's go to then.
All right, yeah, Sunday night and then
a phenomenal game.
Sunday night and then we'll touch on Monday night briefly. So the Chargers win. I picked the Bengals in this one.
I also picked the Bengals.
I picked the Bengals in this one. I got it wrong. I smelled desperation. Clearly, I didn't smell it good enough or whatever. Chargers.
I mean, if the Bengals could kick field goals, they might have won.
Yeah, well, think about it. If everybody did their job on Sunday night.
If kickers could kick field goals.
If everybody did their job on Sunday night, the referees included, the Bengals would have won 33-31. So,
dude, I feel bad.
It's just unfortunate.
Bengals, bro.
Money Mac.
The Joe Burrow's like if he was on if his record was inverse, instead of 4-7, they were 7-4. I'd be like, yeah, Joe Burrow's in the MVP conversation.
It's true. It's a
damn shame. It's a lost season for Cincinnati. When after this year, like they're not gonna have T. Higgins, they might not have Trey Hendrickson. They're gonna have an unhappy Jamar that they don't pay him.
It sucks, man.
Shame. It's just like,
dude,
what
Burrow put it all on the line.
And honestly, out of all the teams that are like the desperate plays that could still like, if you had to pick one of these teams that are like 4-7, like 4-8 or whatever, like 4-3 win teams.
Yeah.
To like somehow pull off a miracle.
It still could be Cincinnati. It still,
still could be Cincinnati.
They're probably the only one.
Honestly, if the Bengals beat the Steelers after their bye, they're on bye this week. They beat the Steelers after their bye. I could see them going on a run. If they lose to the Steelers,
They probably have
be
to win
4
out
and 8, it's over.
They
Yeah, but if you look at the Bengals schedule, they probably do have to win out. But if they beat the Steelers, then they're confident. Then they go against the Cowboys on Monday
they're
night.
confident, man.
Can't
They're
get booed
heartbroken
because they're
right
doing
now.
the Simpson game. But if they beat the Steelers, they get some confidence. They will beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys are ass. Then they play the Titans, who are ass. They play the Browns, that are ass. That's a 4-game winning streak going against the game against the Broncos.
It's set up.
That could be huge.
The table is set.
Big.
I won't lie.
The table is set.
The table is set.
I would not be shocked if they won the table, but it's gonna come down to that Monday night game.
Yeah.
Sunday night game, December 1st.
I would love it. I would love it.
If they win
I'm rooting
that game,
for Burrow, dude.
Do not count Cincinnati out for the playoffs. If they lose that game, their season's over.
I'm rooting for Joe Burrow, man. I hope it happens.
I hope it happens. They're a really good team. I really want to see them in the playoffs.
I have to give props to the Chargers.
They're exciting to watch.
I have to give props to the Chargers because I have to admit
you were a big hater on.
I was wrong.
Last pod.
I was wrong.
You're wrong.
As evident of me picking Cincinnati on
Chargers
Sunday.
Are legit.
That was
you thought they were frauds.
I didn't think they were frauds. I just didn't think they were as good as they are.
You thought they weren't as good as they indicated.
All right, maybe I did. All right, maybe I did think they were frauds.
You thought they were frauds.
But that was a desperate Cincinnati team. They got every bit of the Bengals and they held their own. They won. I think
talking about
go ahead.
Justy Herbert.
Dude, Herbo
Fishing Club president.
Herbo's going off. He's going off.
Electric right now.
I love him.
He's like the QB6, I think.
Jay Herbo, baby. Jay Herbo. Yeah, dude, I picked him up.
He's a stud.
I picked him up because I
picked him up too.
I had CJ goddamn Stroud stinking it up. I had to make a change.
I had Jordan Love stinking it up and getting hurt, so I traded Hunter Henry for Justin Herbert. Two things I want to get in before we wrap up. One, I think Chase Brown should have been the starter all year because I genuinely think that would have made a difference. He's explosive. And two, Jim Harbaugh should be getting major coach of the year consideration. I don't think he'll win. I think he should win the award.
I don't think he'll win.
Who else could win the award?
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn, Kevin O'Connell, maybe. Probably not Kevin O'Connell.
Well, maybe Kevin O'Connell, just because everyone thought the Vikings were gonna be ass.
Dan Campbell, Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin will probably win, honestly. Tomlin.
No, because they have a coacher fatigue or whatever. They don't like picking like older.
Mike Tomlin. They weren't supposed to be that good.
I think it's gonna. I think if the Vikings.
There's a few names, honestly,
and they only lose maybe like 1 or 2 more games, I wouldn't be shocked if it's Kevin O'Connell.
There's a few names in the hat for coach of the year.
But Harbaugh's in there.
Harbaugh's.
I think it's a tighter race than it's a broader race than MVP.
Yes, I agree. All right, let's touch on last night, Monday night. Cowboys stinking it up
Dallas
again.
sucks, but Houston's kind of overrated.
Can I tell you something?
For weeks.
I hammered the Texans on the spread last night, straight up.
I hammered alternate spread
because John told me. My brother's a Cowboys fan. For those of you who don't know, but John told me, he's like, "Did you see the report from AT&T Stadium?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "There was metal falling from the roof. They tried to open the stadium. They tried to open the dome last night. And there was metal.
Oh yeah.
There's metal falling from the roof. Yeah. So there was metal falling from the stadium railing that they used to it's a huge dome on this track, and a piece fell from the thing onto the field. No one was hurt, and then there was another one that fell into a catwalk. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, dude, this is a sign. This is a sign that the things are gonna fall off.
They're
collapsing. They're collapsing, quite literally collapsing. So I was like, that's a sign. So
it was a little bit of a game though, first half.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the Texans ended up winning.
I think the Texans
34-10.
I think they were ahead of schedule on their rebuild. I don't think they're that good of a team.
Dude, the Cowboys are genuinely a bad football team. So
Cowboys are one of the worst teams in the NFL.
The Cowboys.
I've been saying that since the beginning of the season, and nobody believed me. And now everybody sees that I was right. I am the prophet.
I love that you're right.
Everyone's
about
like,
that.
"Oh, he's just biased because he's a Cowboys hater." As John would say, I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm just
you're a Cowboys hater. The Cowboys have trailed by 20 or more points in 6 straight games. That is the longest streak in the history of the NFL.
They're also the only professional sports team that hasn't won a game at home in the year 2024.
I love that.
4 major sports.
Jake Paul has more wins at AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do this year. That's a stat. That's a
Isn't that
fact.
nuts?
That's a fact.
Every it's
It's
almost the
only
end of November.
Dallas.
Thanksgiving is next week.
It's only
And Dallas
Dallas.
is the only professional sports team of the 4 major sports not to win a game at home
It's
in the year
crazy.
2024.
It's crazy.
That is absolutely bonkers.
I love that. That might be my favorite stat, honestly.
That is my favorite.
I wanted to ask you before we go into the KB Tease, where does Houston rank in the AFC? Because I know that we've been quite skeptical in past shows.
I gotta look at the standings.
About so I have them up here. So the Texans are in first place in the AFC South at 7-4. They are 4-1 at home, 3-3 on the road, and they are overall. I believe they're the 4 seed. Yeah, they're the 4
They're
seed.
the 4 seed right now.
They're the
They're
4
the
seed.
division winner. If I had to,
so like where do they rank? Like where do they rank?
I have to look at the
team.
I have to look at all the teams. Why can't I see it? I want to see it by conference. All right. Chiefs are better. Bills are better. Steelers are better. Chargers are better. Ravens are better. Broncos are better. So yeah, they're probably about 7.
Okay.
7 or 8.
Okay.
That would be my rank.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, 6 or 7 is probably fair. They're a playoff team. I don't know how far they'll go.
I think they'll probably lose in the first round because right now they're scheduled to face Baltimore, and they would lose to Baltimore.
They would lose to Baltimore. I agree with that. All right.
Actually, I think any of the wild card teams would beat them.
So let's get into the KBTs here. Because you were having some difficulty putting this one together this week.
I was having difficulty figuring out the 4th leg. I'm very upset because I wish I knew the 4th leg. Because right now I've been kind of like looking ahead of time because I want to get the best lines.
Right.
And I have like football on the brain on Sunday. I'm just watching the teams, checking the lines, see what I think makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Here's a line that I'll go with this one first because this one pissed me off that I couldn't find a 4th leg. Because honestly, this week I don't really like a lot of the lines. But these 4, I love them. That's why I picked them. But the first one is the Buccaneers against the Giants. I think the Buccaneers right now are severely underrated. I think they were one of the best teams in the league beginning of the year. They get Mike Evans back. You know what this line opened up as before the Daniel Jones news?
Tell me.
3.5 for the Bucs.
3.5?
I was like, that makes no sense. So I was like, I almost hammered it just then, just straight up. But now it's 5.5, which kind of sucks for the tees because it was 3.5.
Yeah.
Plus 3.5. So you kind of
did you get it at
field goal insurance.
Did you get it at plus 3.5?
No, because I couldn't figure. I didn't like enough lines to make it 4 at the time. So I was like, I can't pull the trigger. And then by the time I like figured out my 4th line, it moved by 2 points because of the Daniel Jones.
Right.
Because I already kind of knew Daniel Jones was going to get benched because it makes the most sense financially.
Yeah, right.
So you get Bucs plus 1.5. I still think the Bucs are going to win straight up because I think the Bucs are very underrated. I got to look at what their schedule has been post like Chris Godwin getting hurt because they were doing really well before that. So like Chris Godwin got hurt against the Ravens. Before that, they only lost the overtime game against the Falcons on Thursday, and then every other game, and they lost to the Broncos. They got blown out by the Broncos, which is a good defense. So like they were looking good. Then Chris Godwin dies, and they lose to the Ravens, and they lose to the Falcons.
He didn't die, bro.
Touchdown.
Don't talk about Chris Godwin like that.
He died.
That man has a family.
They lost to the Chiefs in overtime. They lost to the Niners by a field
Bucs are a good team.
They're still good team.
I like that.
Giants are an absolute garbage fire.
So it's essentially,
and they're giving up on the season.
It's essentially Bucs money line.
Essentially Bucs money line with like a point favored. I really wish.
Yeah, I know that would have been
to
sick.
Get it at 3.5. I mean, granted, the one thing bad about that is that like none of the public would have been able to get that line.
Yeah, right.
Because I did it before the podcast.
Yeah, right.
So in a sense, it's fair. And when we get to another game, I got a couple points on it since the lines changed, so it evens out in the end.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we'll go to that game, which the line was originally a point plus 1. Now it's plus 2.5, and it's the San Francisco 49ers against the Green Bay Packers.
So where are we going?
With the tease, you get it at plus 9.5. I think that the Packers have been watching them very intensely this week with them almost cooking the KB Tease. I think they are not a team that's going to blow out this Niners team. This Niners team is desperate. Kyle Shanahan low-key has Matt LaFleur's number. And the Packers, if you look at their past 3 games, they won the last week on a blocked field goal. They had their bye. Before that, they won against the Jaguars on a field goal as time expired. And then the game before that, which I can't remember who they played off the top of my head, they also won at a field goal as time expired.
Wasn't it the Texans?
The Texans.
Yeah.
So on it, like they're not the team that I can see blowing.
They're not
out
blowing out anybody.
Desperate
That's a good point.
Team,
That's a good point.
And the Niners own them, and I'm getting them at plus 9.5.
And
George Kittle's gonna be back this game. Brock Purdy's day-to-day with the shoulder, but that's like, who cares?
Give us a winner. Give us a winner.
But give me the Niners plus 9.5. I really like that line, and it was plus 1 if I had gone the Bucks line. So I would have been 8.5, but I like 9.5. 9.5 is pretty.
9.5's fine. I mean, I usually do 10.5 just because it's a better number. But honestly, I don't.
Well, yeah, but this is just the tease. The tease is.
I know, but honestly, I don't see them winning by 10 or more. I really don't.
No, I don't.
I really
don't.
That's
why I like.
I can't imagine a world where I live in that scenario. So I'm gonna speak that into existence. All right. So 49ers plus 9.5. Next one.
This is purely based off of how bad the Raiders have been and how good the Broncos have looked. Give me the Broncos plus 1.5. The Raiders are terrible outside of what's it called? Outside of oh God, Brock Bowers. He's been a stud. Everything else about them has been bad. Their quarterback play is bad. The last time the Broncos played the Raiders, because they already played each other this year, was takes a while to look things up, but 34-18.
Jeez.
The Raiders are bad.
So
the Broncos are good.
Kyle called me before the show and was like, "Hey, I'm struggling to get a 4th leg. Like, can you look at the lines? Just like give it a look over and like what do you like the best?" And I scrolled down. I was looking on my phone. I'm like, "Oh, dude, Denver laying the points." he's like, "So what else do you like?" I was like, "Thank God you've had that in," because I was like, I looked at it, I was like, 5.5. Fucking lay that shit. I think I might take an alternate on that up, to be honest.
Honestly, I think all these legs that I'm taking, like the 5.5 for the Bucks, 5.5 for the Broncos, plus 2.5 for the.
You could probably take them
Niners,
as is and be fine.
I would take all those straight.
Yeah, you might be able to just take those as is.
That's how much I like those lines.
Yeah.
But maybe the one would be the Niners because they've looked not really that hot.
Yeah.
2.5's really not worth it. You might as well just take the money line.
Yeah, right. And I think that's what I'll probably end up doing.
I'm not that confident the Niners will win. I think they will, but I'm not as confident. But the Broncos and the Bucks lines, I would hammer those.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
And then our last line.
I gave Kyle a few other suggestions, so I want to see
in my opinion.
What'd you go with?
But after doing a little research, after talking with my co-host,
after deliberation,
I will be taking arguably a playoff game this week.
Oh,
Cardinals,
you
Seahawks,
went with that one?
And I will be going with the under 54.5.
Love
Cardinals defense has looked really good lately.
Love it.
Seattle's defense has low-key looked a lot better lately. I looked through the games. Cardinals games this season, I think only 2 went over this number. And I think Seattle and only like 2 or 3 went over this number. It's a divisional game. It's outside in Seattle. I'm sure the weather's not going to be great. Cardinals away are not as good as they are at home in the Dome in Glendale. So I think the public is overvaluing this line because they think the Cardinals are a spicy offense lately, and Seattle's it's going to be a blowout because their defenses are bad. I think Cardinals defense has improved under Jonathan Gannon, so I think it's getting overvalued.
Agreed.
I think Seattle defense has been better. They held the Niners down only to to 10 points or to 13 points.
Yeah.
So I think that I really like the under here. I think 54.5. That's a really high over under. And in a divisional game that matters this much.
It's a playoff game.
I do not see this being a shootout. I'd be kind of shocked if it is. So that's why I think 54.5 under is the move.
Plus, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if you can see it.
So I guess bet this on. I don't have a DraftKings account because it doesn't let you log out of the
There you
casino
go.
because the casino is very dangerous.
Plus
But
225.
220. Are you doing this right? How the hell is DraftKings such a good
San
lines?
Francisco 49ers plus 9.5. Under 54.5. Arizona Cardinals at Seattle Seahawks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 1.5. Denver Broncos plus 1.5. 4-pick parlay plus 225.
Jesus Christ! I gotta get DraftKings.
Dude,
At
I don't.
MGM, it's plus 180. It's always been plus 180.
Yucky. And you know
But
what?
it's free money.
I'm
Though. It
honestly
works.
I'm gonna do the money lines for Tampa and Denver because I really do think they're gonna win. And you get that if you do that, it's plus 249. So
Hmm.
let's lock it in. We'll do it. Shove 50.
Lock it in.
Shove 50. So
Keep the streak going. KB Tease 500 on the year, 6-5.
we'll do
up 5.8 units on the whole year.
Yeah.
Since I guarantee this is gonna win, and I threw 100 on it. We've been 6-1, which would mean that you would be up
a lot.
at plus
A
180
lot.
odds because that's what it is on most sports books.
It's a lot.
You'd be up $980 if you're betting $100 a week. So
that's 9.8 units.
9.8 units.
9.8
units. 9.8 units have you been doing
there you
since
go.
I guaranteed a hit.
9.8 units. I mean, you gotta love that, dude.
Yeah, so 9.8, 5.8 if you've been with us since the beginning, and that really bad losing streak. 9.8 if you've been with us since I guaranteed it in week 4.
We've been
week 5.
it took us a little bit to figure it out, but the most important thing is you're up money, we're up money, and now if you went off of us for a little bit and then you come back, if you picked it up in the last few weeks, you're really up money. So
yeah, and you should use your profits to buy Picks merch.
Hey, speaking of which, so I posted.
Great segue.
I posted about this earlier in the week, and then I posted about it today. So we're at 10 orders for hoodies. I want to get to 15 because I want to make it economically affordable for you guys, obviously. So I think they're going to be around 35, maybe a little less than that.
Great holiday present.
But it's a great it's gonna get cold out. I know we've had some pretty good weather out recently, but it's gonna get cold. You
Big
know
drought.
Yeah, dude. If you're sitting inside with your girl and she needs some warmth, hey baby, I got you this beautiful khaki hoodie.
Beautiful
khaki
hoodie.
Beautiful khaki hoodie with this oh so sweet logo on it. It's actually right. Where is it? Right there. See it? See where it says Picks Podcast?
Beautiful.
That's
very sexy.
That's what it's gonna say on it, right there. Yeah, there we go. Right there.
It's those girls excited.
That's what it's gonna say. Look, see it? That's the logo right there.
Get her the hoodie.
So
use the KB process to get her some flowers. Get her the hoodie.
There you go. Flowers not included, but
the KB Tease is pro love.
Yes,
that's what it is.
So they're gonna be khaki hoodies. Let me know your sizes. I can hook you guys up, and if I know you personally, and if it's feasible for me to do so, I will personally deliver it to you myself.
I will also personally deliver.
You can. Well. Kyle will get the New York area. If you're in the New York area,
I can get the New York area.
I can get the rest of Jersey, and or PA, if necessary. So, let me know. We've got about 10 orders, so I want like 5 or so more. I'm probably gonna order.
Know all your friends and family.
Probably order this Sunday or Monday. Before Thanksgiving, though, I want to place the order so that they're in time for Christmas. So. That's where we're aiming, but if you want a hoodie, let me know. There's pictures of them on my Instagram story at @Picks_NFL right above us. No, right there. Right there. That's where they are. So go there on Instagram. You can see them on my story right now. And let me know.
Let's go through the games.
All right, let's touch on these games quickly because I know we've been going for a little bit now.
First game is on. Well, we got Thursday Night Football first.
Wow, I'm not even there yet, bro.
Bro,
I'm not even there yet. Take me to week.
Browns, kind of an irrelevant game.
Take me to week 12. Week 12. Okay. So, Steelers Browns Thursday.
Saturday you got the Lafayette Leopards versus the Lehigh Mount Hawks.
Hey, you know what's funny is
Mount Hawks are first in the.
You know what's funny is I don't see that game on here. I don't see that. No, I don't see it. It's on there. Nah, I don't.
A big
I don't
rivalry game.
I don't see it.
Lehigh's favorite, I believe. I don't see the line showing, but it
should
be a good game. And the Dirty B.
He went to Lehigh
Go
for
Hawks.
those of you who don't know. Anyway,
Go Hawks.
I see Bears Vikings, which is interesting. Bears need a win. Bears are broken. But honestly, the Vikings haven't really impressed me too much recently. They've been in a bit of a lull on offense.
They've been kind of meh.
They've been kind of meh. So I think that's one to watch. I think if Chicago were to break out of this funk that they're in, I think it could be against the Vikings. The Bears defense is still legit. I know the offense has been struggling a lot recently, but I still think that defense is legit. So that could be an interesting one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you like?
Lions Colts should be interesting. If Anthony Richards can keep it up, or if it was just the Jets being the Jets.
Yeah, the Lions should win that one.
Commanders should hopefully probably get a bounce back game against Dallas.
Dallas, yep, they got
really
Dallas.
Get to see if the Commanders are able to bounce back and still stay.
I mean,
the
the 425 games. 49ers at Packers, Cardinals at Seahawks. Those are the two best games of the week, in my opinion.
Two huge games.
Those are the two best games. Honestly, I mean, that's
Eagles Rams Sunday night should be.
That's a big game too. That should be a big one.
Kind of ass.
Yeah, I think that's drinking beer and eating food and not really paying attention.
Yeah, but the 4 o'clock window, you got the Niners, Packers, Cardinals, Seahawks, huge games.
And then Sunday night, obviously.
You got Rams, Eagles. Could be a trap game for the Eagles.
Some people are thinking that, man. Hey, you know what? The line's only 3. That's honestly for a team that's been
traveling all the way out to LA.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the Eagles should still win. I really like the Eagles defensive line.
Eagles have a lot of time to prepare for this game.
I think it's gonna come down to their secondary against the
Puka and Cooper. Yeah.
Pupa de Coopa. And then also just if the Eagles passing offense can like actually look good, because it hasn't really looked good lately.
They've been all right.
It's not good.
They've been all right.
All right.
And then Monday night, hey, Ravens Chargers.
The Harbaugh Bowl.
The Harbaugh.
Great Monday night game.
The Harbaugh. That's a great game. Sign me up. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Who's favorite? I mean, the Ravens probably are.
Ravens are favored by 3, but
they're getting 3.
I almost picked the Chargers 10 plus 10. But the Ravens off a bad loss. I can see them just being like, I want to blow out a team, and the Chargers.
I don't know, man. I mean, this one's tough. Baltimore probably wins. I mean, dude, I've been picking against the Chargers, and they keep winning. So, like,
they keep winning. What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I mean, if they keep winning, I might have to just pick them this week. But
why does I have to pick them?
I mean, all right. So, are the Ravens really a 7-5 team, or are the Chargers an 8-3 team? That's the question.
That's the question.
There. So if you pick the Chargers, that's the case. If you don't pick the Chargers are 7-4 and the Ravens are 8-4. So that seems like it makes a little more sense in my head canonically, but yeah, we'll see.
So it's a great way to pick games.
We'll see.
Like that.
We'll see. All right, so we got a good slate coming up for week 12. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Again,
games. You got
check out
excellent games.
Check out our Instagram. See the story. Let me know if you want a hoodie. If not,
place your KB Tease.
Place your KB Tease though. If you don't place your KB Tease, I will be mad. It's free money.
Broncos, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks under.
Love it. Love it. All right, so we'll be back in week 12. A reminder again, the show that is scheduled for December 3rd, which is a Tuesday, will be on December 4th, which is a Wednesday. And then we have a Christmas Eve show, which won't be taking place on Christmas Eve because it's Christmas Eve. That's going to be on
Christmas Eve show.
That's going to be on Monday, the 23rd, and then New Year's Eve, which is also a Tuesday, will not be taking place on Tuesday, New Year's Eve. It'll be
New Year's Eve
Eve show on Monday. So I will post more about that.
And then next week we have a special game that we're previewing next week.
Oh, we do?
We do have a special game.
All right, we'll talk about that a little more, but a little teaser.
Little teaser next week. But...
Let me give you guys a little preview. I'm about to kick Kyle's ass on a football field. That's what's gonna happen. So tighten up, baby. Let's go. I don't even know what your shitty team name is. What is it?
The Unholy Union.
That's too much. It's a mouthful. Devils. It's a mouthful, dude.
That's the team name.
That's a fucking mouthful. That's crazy. Unholy. What's unholy is what we're gonna do to you on the field. That's what's unholy.
You guys chose black because you're getting dressed for a funeral.
Yeah, yours.
And we're gonna take you to hell.
Yours, bitch. All right, y'all. We'll catch you next week. Thanks again. Peace out.